Hello everyone, Jesse Webb, Traders Pro. Market conditions, bullish in a bull market. Again, what this means for traders and investors is consider trading with a bullish bias. That means buying stocks going long. That's our current market environment. That's the current bias, is focusing on the long direction. And part of the process of these videos is to help provide some context to where we're at in that current trend. Inside of this bull market, are we to the upper side? Are we early? Are we late? That long-term trend is going to tell us that overall long-term direction. That shorter-term trend signal is going to show us whether or not we may be at the extreme of the trend or at the middle of the trend. And we're currently at the upper end of this trend, continuing to see lots of strength, though, which is really a good sign for the markets as a whole. Momentum indicator, we've had a breakout. S&P has kind of been trading sideways for the last 3 or 4 days. We're in the top end of that range, but there's a lot of upside still that we could see to take that back up to the top end of that extreme range. So in real strong uptrends, this momentum indicator will stay up in the extreme range, or can stay up in the extreme range. So it's not necessarily something to be afraid of looking for new entries, but it is just be aware that a lot of times trends need to retrace all the way back in to this buy zone. So we'll see if we get any kind of continuation. Looks like we're gapping higher this morning. We'll see if we get follow through on that. Breadth indicator, still seeing, as far as our database, light participation, or trending participation. We are seeing the overall buy sell ratio moving pretty strongly now. So we're back up here to this upper range buy sell ratio. Now you can see this bottom line actually tells you the ratio, which is 3 to 1. So inside the database, 3 buys for every 1. That's positive breadth, positive momentum to the bullish side. If we take a look at our indices, we've got Dow Jones, we've got transportations, and we've got industrials. We still have that small cap number, which this is actually quite impressive to have this small cap number as large as it is, because there are so many stocks inside of these groups. And so we have leaning to the bullish side across all of these indicators. Leading sectors, one of the quick ways to be able to go through and look for leading stocks and leading sectors is to click on this sector tab and then see which ones are working here. So you've got construction, aerospace. These are the #1 stocks in the group. You've got the average rank of 64. So what that says is that the average rank of all the stocks in the construction sector is 64, which is the #1 ranking group of all of the groups in the list. So the average rank is 64, and that's the top 63, and then it goes down from there. So you could simply click on this 90 stocks in the construction zone. They're not new buy signals, but they are current buy signals. So in this case, you might get a stock like this, STRL, which has had a really fantastic run. So watching for a stock, maybe it has a pullback, pulls back into the buy zone. You can build out some additional watch lists by going through this process. These are the strongest stocks in the strongest sector, and we've had a pretty decent run, so some of these need to pull back in a little bit. But early, following that process and looking for those stocks early in those trends is also a way to be able to gather a list of leading stocks. Let's take a look at the muscle stocks group this morning. We've got AVDL. This is a nice looking pattern, really smooth trends, not a lot of volatility when you get the ups and downs. It's a fairly smooth trending stock. $15 medical drug stock, which is a leading sector in terms of the last 3 or 4 months. Anything to do with medical biotech has been moving really well. So an interesting stock to keep an eye on there today. There's a couple of others in here that look really good. IMGN. When you get a stock that's this strong and continues to move to that upside, then these are stocks to continue to keep an eye on. If they get up to that extreme range and then they pull back into that buy zone, this is actually still early in that trend and potentially breaking out. Again, another $15 medical stock. Interesting setup right there as well. MLTX, potential breakout on a solid bar right there. RCEL, not as good of a pattern, because these patterns that just rocket off the bottom, and then by the time the momentum has shifted, it's a long ways away. It's got a deeper possibility for a deeper retracement. So these can certainly still work because they are so strong. And setting a stop loss still at the low of the bar versus at the low of the recent hold all the way down here. A little bit tougher for a setup like that, but still keep an eye on some of these as it's obviously moving strongly for a reason and has some momentum behind it. Of the stocks we looked at so far, I think this is the nicest looking pattern in terms of the longest counter, corrective process where you've got an uptrend and then allowing this corrective process to pull that stock back inside of this buy zone and then get a good solid confirmation bar. This 12% move, not too bad. I prefer it to be 8% or less to be able to set a stop loss right here, but it's a nice looking pattern in that computer tech stocks to be focusing on. Let's see what we've got here on the next couple. EDU, really a new buy, not a good solid confirmation bar. CVRX, medical instrument stock, counter trend, breakout, solid confirmation bar here as well. So you've got quite a few good looking stocks here, and market conditions are also bullish. These are times to certainly be accumulating, looking for stocks that you want to be participating in. That'll do it for today's update. Everyone have a fantastic day.